Today's lesson will focus in on bisecting an angle. Our mastery objective is students will be able to use a compass and a straight edge to bisect an angle. For our activator, we're going to take a moment to activate that prior knowledge before we get into the day's lesson. Bisecting, as we referenced yesterday, is to divide something into two equal parts. And in class, we were able to go ahead and use line segments and create bisections with those line segments. So let's take a look at this real-world example right down here of a telephone pole. Using this measurement of a line segment, we're going to bisect this line segment also, so we can again divide it into two equal parts. First thing that we need, as our mastery objective states, is a compass. Using our compass, we're going to go ahead and position it on the line segment. So I'm finding the beginning point and the end point of that line segment. And again, even if it takes a moment to adjust, make sure that your compass is adjusted properly. Now you're going to go ahead and draw two arcs. First on the right hand side, and you want to be careful that the arcs surpass or go beyond where you think the middle of your line segment is. So as long as the arcs are going beyond, you're good to go. Now I'm going to reposition my compass again. I'll swivel it around, make sure that the measurement is still the same and accurate, which it is. I'm now going to draw my second arc. Once I've drawn my second arc, I'm now able to go ahead and use a straight edge, and for my case I'm going to use some of the Promethean technology here, but for you, you would use your straight edge ruler. You'll go ahead and find where you think the arcs intersect and draw your line straight down. Now mine's off slightly, so I would go ahead and adjust, and what you'd want to do is make sure that yours is lined up perfectly with your straight edge ruler. Once you've done that, you can see clearly now that both sides are equal length, the side on the left hand and on the right hand of our bisecting line right there. And therefore we've done just as the bisection says, divide something into two equal parts. Using this knowledge, let's apply it to our mastery objective, which is again to go ahead and to bisect an angle using a compass and a straight edge. Taking a look at this image here, we can see that the world does surround us with angles. But what happens when we need to divide them into equal parts? Well, let's take a look at one of these angles as an example. Using this, I'm going to go ahead and rotate it around so it's in a position that's more familiar with how we've been using angles. Now that I have an acute angle here, I'm going to take my compass and actually start to create a bisection. Now what I want to do is to go ahead and first position it, and there's a couple different ways of doing it. This is just one method, of course. I'm going to use any measurement on my compass. It doesn't matter. Usually I try to go ahead and extend it something a little bit further so I have an easier arc to draw. Making sure that my point is at the vertex of the angle, I'm now going to go ahead and create one large swinging arc. Now with this arc, I'm now going to go ahead and take my compass and move it up to the top intersection. And I'm going to draw one more arc. I'll then use my compass, and again, notice I am not changing any of the measurements. I'll bring it back down to the bottom. And now I'm going to draw my next arc. Now what I've done basically is to go ahead and show you exactly where to draw the lines. Now the next thing all we have to do is basically connect the dots at this point. Now you, once again, would use your straight edge, and I am going to use our Promethean technology here to assist us. So I would go ahead and make sure that I line it up perfectly, and then I would go ahead and draw in that straight line. Now what I've done here is taking the acute angle, and I was able to go ahead and divide the angle measurement into two. So I have one line that goes ahead and divides the angle into two equal parts. So now that one large acute angle has become instead two congruent acute angles that we have within the larger one. So feel free to go ahead and review this video several times to activate your prior knowledge based on line segments, and then also take a look at how we would go ahead and bisect an angle measurement.